Good afternoon, everyone. So, today we are going to talk about general properties of viruses. This is the practical class number 24, page number 78 of practical record book. So, last time we have completed the lecture, our class on general properties of viruses. So, this practical will be followed by that. In this practical, you will have the following learning objectives. Then at the end of this tutorial and practical, student will be able to define viruses, enumerate important DNA and RNA viruses and infections caused by them, enumerate different methods for demonstration of as well as cultivation of viruses. Explain limitations of light microscopy for direct demonstration, recognize uninfected cell lines, recognize inclusion of Negri bodies and molluscan contagiosum, enumerate the use of tissue culture bottle, enumerate various routes of inoculation on embryonated egg and the application of each route. Should able to describe the growth of choroidal membrane, enumerate different cytopathic effects produced by viral growth, explain different steps involved in laboratory diagnosis of viral infections, enumerate viral infections for which antiviral drugs are available. So we'll start with the first learning objective, define virus. What are viruses? As you all know, we have studied in the theory class, the term virus is emerged from the Latin word poison, which virus, which means poison, and it has been given by Bujurinic. So it took about 52 years approximately for discovery of the viruses, and these viruses are defined as these are small, non-living, infectious particles containing genetic material, either in the form of DNA or RNA, and with a protein capsule, which is known as capsid. So these are non-cellular particles. They are ultramicroscopic, metabolically inert or inactive, obligate intracellular parasites having either DNA or RNA, but never both. They are known as viruses. That means poison in Latin. So these are viruses. So we have to now enumerate different DNA and RNA viruses and the infections caused by these RNA and DNA viruses. So as per the classification of viruses, DNA viruses are herpes viridae family, which contains the herpes simplex virus, herpes simplex virus 2. 8 types are there: herpes simplex virus 1, herpes simplex virus 2, varicella zoster, Epstein-Barr virus, cytomegalovirus, human herpes virus 6, 7, and 8. They causes herpes virus infections. Then Hepadinaviridis family, which is another virus containing double-stranded circular DNA. They are responsible for causing hepatitis, viral hepatitis. Major pathogenic is hepatitis B virus. Then the poxviridae, double-stranded DNA, which is linear one, responsible for causing smallpox, variola. Viruses include our variola virus, molluscum contagiosum virus, then adenoviridis family, again double-stranded DNA viruses, a DNA nucleic acid, which is linear one. Symmetry is icosahedron, responsible for causing adenoviral infections in humans. Examples of RNA viruses: Picornaviridae family contains poliovirus, responsible for causing polio. Then hepatitis A virus, again responsible for causing hepatitis, viral hepatitis. Calciviridae family having single-stranded positive cells RNA containing hepatitis E, responsible for causing viral hepatitis. Then Flaviviridae, single-stranded positive cells RNA, responsible for causing yellow fever containing yellow fever virus, dengue containing dengue viruses. that viral hepatitis C virus, and coronavirus family, single-stranded positive cells, RNA having envelope, helical symmetry, responsible, contain, representative virus, coronaviruses, and today we are all suffering with the pandemic of SARS-CoV-2, that is severe acute respiratory syndrome virus 2, that is coronavirus 2. So this is again the list of rest of the viruses, RNA viruses, having single-stranded negative cells, RNA as a nucleic acid. For example, rabies virus belongs to rabies viridae family. So there are a number of them. So next is enumerate different methods for demonstration of cultivation of viruses. Demonstration methods are there. In general, diagnostics thus can be grouped into three important categories: direct detection, indirect examination, that includes virus isolation. Third category includes serology. In direct examination, the clinical specimen is examined directly for the presence of virus particle, virus antigen, or virus nucleic acid. In indirect examination, specimen is cultivated into cell culture, eggs, embryonated eggs or animals are inoculated in an attempt to grow the virus. This is known as cultivation of virus or virus isolation. Serological diagnosis can be made by the detection of rising titers of antibody between acute and convalescent stages of infection, or detection of IgM. Indirect diagnostic methods of viral infections. In general, the majority of common viral infections can be diagnosed by serology. The specimens used for detection, direct detection of virus and virus isolation are very important. Positive results from the site of disease would be much greater diagnostic significance than those from other sites. For example, in case of herpes simplex and encephalitis, a positive result from CSF or PRIN would be much greater significance than positive result from an oral ulcer, since reactivation of oral herpes is common during times of stress. So it is important that both the things are important, direct as well as indirect methods of diagnosis, but it is more preferable if there is direct demonstration of the virus in the clinical specimen that has more weightage, or it is confirmatory test for the diagnosis of viral infection. So direct demonstration methods include microscopy, that includes electron microscopy, in which techniques used are shadow casting, freeze drying, or freeze dry technique. Then light microscopy, which are used for detection of inclusion bodies of the viruses. We'll see what are inclusion bodies. Immunofluorescence microscopy, that can detect viral antigen using conjugated antibodies, detecting antibodies using conjugated antigens, ELISAs, which can detect antigen or antibody, molecular techniques for direct detection of viral genomes. So direct examination methods are often also known as rapid diagnostic methods, because they can usually give result either within the same day or the next day. These are extremely useful in cases when the clinical management of patient depends greatly on the rapid availability of laboratory tests. For example, diagnosis of respiratory syncytial virus infection in neonate, or severe cytomegalovirus infection in immunocompromised patients. With the advent of effective antiviral chemotherapy, rapid diagnostic methods are expected to play an increasingly important role in diagnosis of viral infections. Antigen detection. Example of antigen detection includes immunofluorescence testing of nasopharyngeal aspirates of swabs for respiratory viruses, for example, SARS-CoV-2, RSV, flu A, flu B, and adenoviruses. Detection of rotavirus antigen in feces, the PP65, cytomegalovirus antigen anemia test, detection of HSV or PCV in skin scrapings, and the detection of hepatitis surface antigen in serum. However, it is considered most in serological test. Now, the main advantage of these assays is that they are rapid, easy to perform. The results are available within few hours. However, these techniques are often tedious, time consuming. The results are difficult to read, interpret. Sensitivity and specificity is most of the time poor. The quality of the specimen obtained is utmost important in order for the test to work properly. So these are the certain disadvantages of antigen detection. Electron microscopy under direct detection or direct demonstration, virus particles are detected and identified on the basis of their morphology. The magnification around 550 lakh 50,000 is normally used. Electron microscope is now mainly used for the diagnosis of viral gastroenteritis by detecting viruses in feces. For example, rotavirus, adenovirus, astrovirus, calcivirus, and Norwalk-like viruses. Occasionally, it may be used for detection of viruses in vesicles and other skin regions such as herpes viruses, papillomaviruses. The sensitivity and specificity of electron microscopy may be enhanced by immune electron microscopy, where virus-specific antibody is used to agglutinate virus particles together, and that can be made easier to recognize, capture virus particle in on the electron microscopic grid. Electron microscopy, the main problem with electron microscopy is it is expensive, involve maintenance, involving maintenance and purchasing. In addition, the sensitivity of electron microscopy is often poor, with at least 10 raised to 5 to 10 raised to 6 virus particles per ml in the sample required for eyes visualization. Therefore, the observer must highly skilled. Light microscopy, replicating viruses often produce histological changes in infected cells. These changes may be characterized or these changes may be characteristic or non-specific. Viral inclusion bodies are basically collection of replicating virus particles either in the nucleus or cytoplasm. Example of inclusion bodies include the Negri bodies and the cytomegalic inclusion bodies found in rabies and cytomegalovirus infection, respectively. Although not sensitive or specific, histology nevertheless serve as a useful adjunct in the diagnosis of certain viral infection. Molecular methods based on detection of viral genome are also commonly known as molecular methods. It is often said that molecular method is future direction for viral diagnosis. However, in practice, although the use of these methods is indeed increasing, the role played by molecular methods in routine diagnostic virology laboratory is still small as compared to the conventional method. It is certain, though, that the role of molecular methods will increase rapidly in the future. Classical molecular techniques such as dot plot and Southern blot depends on the use of specific DNA and RNA probes for hybridization. The specificity of the reactions depend on the condition used for hybridization. These techniques may allow for quantification of DNA RNA present in the specimen. However, it is often found that sensitivity of these techniques is not better than conventional viral diagnostic methods. Newer molecular methods such as polymerase chain reaction (PCR) ligase chain reaction, LCR, nucleic acid-based amplification, NASPA, and branched DNA depend on some form of amplification, either the target nucleic acid or single signal itself. Branched DNA is essentially a conventional hybridization technique with increased sensitivity. However, it is not sensitive as PCR and other amplification techniques. PCR is the only amplification technique which is in common use. PCR is an extremely sensitive technique. It is possible to achieve a sensitivity of down to 1 DNA molecule in a clinical specimen. However, PCR has many problems, chief among which is contamination, since only a minute amount of contamination is needed to give a false positive result. In addition, because PCR is so sensitive compared to other techniques, a positive PCR result is often very difficult to interpret as it does not necessarily indicate the presence of disease. This problem is particularly great in case of latent viruses such as cytomegalovirus, since latent cytomegalovirus genome may present and it may amplify from the blood of the healthy individual. Despite all this, PCR being increasingly used for the rapid diagnosis of viral infection. Isolation of viruses, laboratory animals, fertilized hen's egg, choriovoltaic membrane, allonteic cavity, amniotic cavity, yolk sac, organ, tissue, and cell cultures. And this growth can be identified by serological methods such as neutralization. Virus culture using embryonated eggs. Embryonated eggs can be inoculated via these different inoculation routes such as choriovoltaic membrane, CAM, allantoic cavity, amniotic cavity, yolk sac. Cell lines or tissue cultures, which can be employed for virus culture or isolation, primary cell lines, diploid or secondary cell line, continuous cell lines. Animal inoculations, animals which are mostly experimentally used are suckling mice. So embryonated hen's egg, where choriovoltaic membrane can be inoculated, on which we can observe visible lesions which are known as pox. Each infectious particle forms one pox, and the organ virus which can be inoculated on choriovoltaic membrane are variola and vaccinia viruses, which produces pox on the choriovoltaic or CAM. Allonteic cavity used usually for production of batch cultures of vaccine like influenza, paramyxin for vaccine production, and rabies for inactivated non-neural rabies vaccine. Amniotic cavity is inoculated for primary isolation of viruses such as influenza virus. Yolk sac usually used for certain viruses, chlamydia and rickettsia. So this is the diagram which is showing different routes of inoculation of embryonated NC. Tissue culture, three types are available. First, organ culture. Second, explant culture. Third, cell culture. Organ culture, small bites of organ are maintained in tissue culture growth medium used for isolation of highly specialized parasites of certain organs. For example, for the isolation of coronavirus, respiratory pathogen. Explant culture, fragments of mice tissue can be grown as explant, which was originally known as tissue culture. This method is rarely used. Cell culture, routinely used method for growing viruses in reference laboratories and national laboratories, classified into three types. Primary cell culture, generally these are normal cells, freshly taken from body and cultured. They have limited growth, 5 to 10 cell divisions at most, used for primary isolation and vaccine production. rhesus monkey, kidney cell lines, chick embryo fibroblast cells, human amnion cell lines. These are the examples of primary cell culture. Primary cell lines. Diploid cells are single type fibroblast cells that can be subcultured or cultivated for limited number of times, mostly 50, used in isolation of certain fastidious pathogens, production of viral vaccines, for example, rabies vaccine. Examples are WI38 human embryonic cell lines, human embryonic lung cell lines, HL8 rhesus monkey cell lines, continuous cell lines, malignant cells derived from cancerous tissue. Cell chromosomes are haploid, have the capacity to grow indefinitely or can be subcultivated indefinitely. They can be stored at minus 70 degrees Celsius. Example, HeLa, human cancer of cervix cell line. HP2, human epithelium, larynx, Varro, forward monkey kidney cells, McCoy, Tetroid 6, BHK21, KB. These are the examples of continuous cell culture. Tissue is mixed in trypsin and mechanical shaking is applied, which separates individual cells. The separated cells are washed, they are counted, then suspended in growth medium. Growth medium used is minimum essential medium, MEM, has essential amino acids, vitamins, salts, glucose, bicarbonate, 5% of carbon dioxide with fetal calf serum, antibiotics, phenol red indicator. These are the ingredients. Cell culture bottles, tubes, you can see in the picture. Limitations of light microscopy in viral diagnosis. We have already seen that inclusion bodies of certain viruses may be demonstrated by light microscopes, although these are not sensitive and specific as histology. They never serve as a diagnostic tool for certain viral infection. Recognize Negri bodies. So this is the section of brain showing Negri bodies stained with gypsum stain. These Negri bodies are round to oval inclusion bodies seen in cytoplasm and sometimes in neurons of rabid animals after death. These are eosinophilic, sharply demarcated pathogenomy inclusion bodies measuring about 2 to 10 micrometer in diameter, usually found in cytoplasm of some nerves. Recognize molluscum contagiosum, section of skin showing molluscum contagiosum. Molluscum contagiosum is a virus, causative agent of molluscum contagiosum, the third most common viral infection in children, one of the 5 most prevalent skin diseases in the world. These inclusion bodies are characteristic intracytoplasmic inclusion bodies known as molluscum bodies or Henderson-Peterson bodies, and they usually seen on histological examination findings. You can see the picture. Now enumerate various routes of inoculation of hens embryonated egg. We have already talked about this. There are 4 important routes of inoculation: Coriollan tight membrane. Usually inoculated viruses are variola vaccinia. They produce POC on this. Allantoic cavity used for influenza, paramyxo, and rabies viruses for purpose of vaccine batch cultures. Amniotic cavity used for primary isolation of influenza virus, UXAC, used for isolation of chlamydia, Klebsiella, and viruses. These are the various routes of inoculation. Enumerate different cytopathic effects produced by the various viruses. So cytopathic effects, these are important aspects of viral infections, and they are important from the point of view of diagnosis also of these viral infections. Many of these can be seen as unfixed, unstained cells under the low power of light microscope. However, with some cytopathic effects, namely inclusion bodies, as we have seen, Nagli bodies, molluscum bodies. These cells must be fixed with stain and stained with certain stains such as Jameson stain, and they can be observed under night microscope. Some viruses that produce CPEs are characteristic and therefore can be of an important tool for the diagnosis of this particular viral infection. So the cytopathic effects, usually these are morphological changes in culture cells seen under microscope, characteristic CPE for different groups of viruses. Few examples are here, such as metabolic inhibition, no acid production in presence of virus, hemagglutination, influenza, para-influenza viruses by adding kinetic erythrocytes to the culture. Influenza, para-influenza viruses, they have hemagglutinin spike on their envelope, which have the tendency to agglutinate most RBCs. They can agglutinate RBCs of bird, humans, mammals. So if you add RBCs to this culture, these hemagglutinin spike, they are going to attach to these RBCs with their receptors, and they are going to agglutinate the RBCs, which is going to show you heme agglutination. And this is how we can understand the cytopathic effect produced by the particular virus, and we can identify that this is an influenza virus. Examples such as ground glass appearance of histocytes in case of hepatitis B viruses. That is also one of the important cytopathic which can be seen in case of hepatitis B virus. Then production of POC by the pox viruses. These are viral assays are assay of infectivity, and these are quantitative assays. Plaque assay in monolayer cell cultures can be performed. POC assays can be performed on CAM also. Each plaque and POC, they represent one infectious virus. Plaques are clear zones that develop on the lawn of the host cell culture, and the virus plaque is analogous to bacterial colony. This is the picture showing plaques. Detection of virus growth in cell cultures can be done by interference. Growth of a non-cytopathogenic virus can be tested by inoculating a known cytopathogenic virus. Growth of the first virus will be inhibited because of the invasion by the second. Transformation, oncogenic viruses, they can induce transformation and loss of contact inhibition. Microtumors, immunofluorescence, test of viral antigen in cell from viral infected cultures. Rising titer of antibody in paired samples of serum. Second sample after 2 weeks. First sample at the earliest. Techniques which can be used in serological reactions: neutralization, ELISA, complement fixation, hemagglutination inhibition. Enumerate the viral agents which can be used against viral infections: acyclovir, valacyclovir, ganciclovir, and these are the mechanism of action of these viral agents. Antiviral agents, for example, Enfu, Vartidine, that blocks the alpha globulin, which is performing the action of viral adsorption as well as penetration. Uncoating of influenza A virus is blocked by amantadine. Early protein synthesis of cytomegalovirus is blocked by foamy Nucleic acid synthesis can be blocked by pyrimidine analogs, reverse transcriptase inhibitors. Late protein synthesis and processing can be blocked by methicillin in case of variola virus. They can also inhibit protease. Rifampicin can block packaging and assembly. neuraminidase inhibitors of influenza. Now there are demonstrations of this practical. We have demonstrate negative bodies. You have to draw the diagram of negative bodies and you have to write on this description of the that negative bodies. These are round oval inclusion bodies seen in cytoplasm, sometimes in neuron of rabid animals. After that, these are eosinophilic, simply demarcated, pathogenic inclusion bodies measuring about 2 to 10 micrometer in diameter, and they usually found in cytoplasm of some nerves. And you have to demonstrate and draw. You have to demonstrate and you have to draw these inclusions of molluscum contagiosum. Molluscum contagiosum inclusions. These are also known as molluscum bodies, or they are also known as Henderson-Peterson bodies, and seen on histological examinations. These are characteristically intracytoplasmic one. The cell lines are prepared. Slide shows you how the cell lines can be prepared from lung tissues. Individual cells are isolated from the tissues. Then they are primarily cultured. Then they are made contact inhibition, and then some cells are transferred to new media for secondary cultures. Certain cells or individual cells can be isolated from tumor. They can be used as a continuous cell lines and cultivated accordingly. Choriolentic membrane with growth. Picture shows choriolentic membrane of developing chick covered with smallpox virus. So this is the tissue culture bottle with the cell lines, Chinese hamster, ovary CHO cell lines. This is this is Layton's tube, Layton's culture tube. These are useful for the study of pathogenic effect on virus on cells as well as sponge matrix culture and nutritional studies. These cover slips, this use cover slips for preparing explant tissue cultures with Langton's culture tube. Next demonstration is polio vaccine, inactivated and OPV, oral polio vaccine. So this is the Indian immunization, national immunization schedule for OPV. It is given at birth, then after 6 weeks, after 10 weeks, after 14 weeks, the dose. Agglutination test. Here you can see the RBCs are there. If they interact with the virus will attach to the specific receptor with the help of hemagglutinin spike on the RBCs, and they can agglutinate the RBCs, resulting in red color agglutination of the RBCs. While if we add antibody to this suspension of virus and then add RBCs to this, these antibodies will go and mask the antigen, they will fix the antigen, and hence the hemagglutinin spike present on the virus will not able to agglutinate RBCs. Hence, there is no agglutination of the hemagglutination or rupture of the RBCs, and there is formation of butter at the bottom of the valve of the plate. So this is quantitative method of hemagglutination, where we can serially dilute the virus virus culture, and then we can mix RBCs and we can identify the titer of that particular hemagglutination unit. One hemagglutination unit minimum amount of virus that causes complete agglutination of the RBC. ELISA for HIV infection. ELISAs are enzyme-linked immunosorbent assays. They can detect antibodies. They can detect specific proteins also or antigens also. In case of antibody detection, immovable HIV-specific proteins or antigens are used as PET, and the antigens for HIV antibodies in the human blood sample are added to that. Antibodies, after addition, they will go and bind to the antigen. These bounded HIV antibodies are made visible by labeled antigens that bind to the HIV antibodies. In case of specific protein detection, immovable HIV-specific antibodies are used as a PET for HIV-specific protein, that is antigen. The human blood sample, in the human blood sample, HIV antigen can bind to the antibodies, and bound HIV antigens are made visible by labeled antibodies that bind to the HIV antigen. These are the ELISAs for HIV. Then now you have to draw these diagrams. You have to draw well-labeled diagrams of tissue culture bottle and the instance tube. Then you have to draw well-labeled diagrams of everybody's molluscum contagiosum. You have to draw a diagram which is well-labeled of embryonated eggs inoculation picture. So here we are finished with this. If you have any doubts or queries, you can anytime ask for the particular question. So if you wish, we can once again go through the points of practical. The other important points of this today's practical that we should know. We should know definition of the virus. We should know the diagnostic methods, demonstration methods of the viruses, microscopy like immunofluorescence, ELISA, molecular test. We should know the culture methods of the virus, related eggs inoculation, cell lines, tissue culture, animal inoculation. These are the important point of today's practical. You should know, you should be able to recognize in every bodies, all some contagious bodies, inoculation routes of embryonated eggs, cytopathic effects, viral assays, antiviral drugs. These are the important points of today's practical. So we'll stop here. If you have any queries,